Denim Days by Anonymous Alchemist. Sildar makes first contact by accident. He tore a hole in the crotch of his jeans. He needed new pants. He went to the secondhand store and picked up the pair of jeans, which had seemed totally normal at the time. He trudged to the changing room and smiled painfully at the attendant and had said, "Yeah, just the pants. No, I don't need any help, thanks." Then he closed the curtain and kicked off his shoes and shrugged his pants off and picked up the new pair of jeans. "Finally," the jeans seem to exclaim as he puts them on. "Gods, I was wondering if anyone would ever pick me up." "What the fuck?" Sildar says, and then hastily begins to strip them back off. Every so often, a cursed artifact makes its way into the mall. This is not unusual. Phylacteries, soul containers, cursed objects bound with the echo of some demon or djinn or person's personality soul matrix all occasionally make their way into the commercial sphere. Last year, there have been rumors of some sicko who split his soul into 7 pieces. Talking jeans have nothing on that. "No, please hear me out," the pants say urgently. "My name's Barry. I've been trapped in these pants for fucking decades." Sildar pauses. The voice sounds so sad. "This has literally nothing to do with me," Sildar says. "I guess I can take you to the university if you want." No, they'll just destroy me," Barry says. "Maybe, don't do that." Sildar pauses. "Are you a lich?" The jeans are silent for a moment. "No," Barry says. "You're a lich," Sildar says flatly. "Yeah, okay," Barry admits. "But in my defense, it was an accident." "How is that sort of thing an accident?" Sildar exclaims, and then becomes acutely aware that he's arguing with a pair of pants. "I don't have time for this. Put me on, and I'll make you the best necromancer this plane's ever known," Barry says. "I've got magic like you wouldn't believe, kid." "Okay, that's sort of a lie, but come on, please. I've been in here for ages, and I'm really bored." It's the fact that the pants sound so sad that makes Sildar sigh. "Fine, fine. I'll buy you at least." "You're a saint," Barry says. And he sounds he sounds so pathetically grateful that Sildar doesn't think twice before scooping the pants up. At least the jeans are really nice, sturdy, denim, and blue. Sildar discovers that as long as he has skin-to-denim contact with the jeans, him and Barry can talk. Barry is remarkably forthcoming with information, mostly. He used to be a necromancer nearly a century ago. He died when he was 45, and there was an unfortunate lab accident that he refuses to explain because it was both embarrassing and incredibly unlikely. He's been in the jeans ever since, and Sildar has been the first person who seemed even remotely sympathetic. "Anyone ever try to destroy you?" Sildar asks as he unlocks the door to his apartment. "I have defenses," Barry says, ominously. "Well, that's not creepy at all," Sildar says, and Barry does the voiceless equivalent of a laugh. That wasn't voiceless, never mind. Sildar discovers that, to his chagrin, he likes Barry. He's got a sense of easygoing humor and seems grateful for Sildar's company. "I miss having hands," Barry says wistfully as Sildar enters his apartment and turns on the lights. "What are the chances you know where I can find a body?" "0, Sildar says unsympathetically. "I'm not helping you go grave robbing." "Damn," Barry says. "I'm putting you down now," Sildar says. "I have homework to finish." "What's it on?" Barry says. "Magical equations problem set," Sildar says. "It's like 9 questions and the prof hates us." "Huh," Barry says, curiosity coloring his face. "I used to be aces at that. Hey, I'll trade you an hour of possession for doing your homework." "That's a trap," Sildar says. He knows how these things work. You don't make deals with unidentified magic objects. Everyone knows that. "You can make a binding timed contract or a kill switch. I don't care," Barry says. "I just want to get out of here for a bit." Sildar weighs the pros and cons. He really doesn't want to do this homework. He would also prefer to keep his body, but Barry seems moderately benevolent as liches go. and he really doesn't want to do this homework. We're binding this with Teravan's contract, Sildar says firmly. But fine, we've got a deal. Barry, true to his word, does Sildar's homework with impeccable precision, and then spends the rest of the hour making a cup of coffee and drinking it with obvious delight, taking a shower, and fiddling with some of Sildar's broken electronics. He fixes Sildar's old radio. Sildar watches everything from what feels like somewhere above his body. It's strange being able to feel what's happening while not being able to control his limbs. He gets a sense that if he wanted to, he could sink lower into his hindbrain, give up awareness, but it's fun watching Barry delight in having a physical form. They fall into a pattern after that. Barry takes over for an hour a day, and on Sundays, an exchange does all of Sildar's homework and explains it to him. He keeps up a running commentary when Sildar wears his jeans, and once Sildar buys a hands-free stone of far speech, he can respond without people thinking he's nuts. Barry buys fake glasses and parts his hair differently than Sildar does. He starts carving out a life for himself, slipping seamlessly into the identity of Barry Blue Jeans Jr. Yes, it was a tragedy what happened to my father, wasn't it? At the university, and gets a research apprenticeship that nets Sildar and him a nice stipend. Money. I'm trying to figure out how to get my body back, Barry explains. I need access to the uni's equipment. You think you can do it? Sildar asks, combing his hair back to the way he usually keeps it. I know I can, Barry says. He's ultra confident about his own abilities, despite being something of a stuttering mess everywhere else. He's the opposite of Sildar in that way. Sildar moves through the world with no hesitation. He's rubbish at school, though. Well, I hope you succeed, Sildar says. Thanks, Barry says. And thank you, again, for helping me. I know you didn't have to. You're the one helping me pass my classes, Sildar says. Call it even. Sildar enjoys watching Barry's life. He's an only child. His parents died when he was in high school. He never bothered to make many friends. He hadn't realized that he was lonely. The Star Blaster mission is Barry's idea. They learn about the mission from Barry's research advisor, who waxes rhapsodic about the trip. The light landing had been the news of the year. Barry had listened attentively, and then with growing enthusiasm. We've got to go, he says to Sildar, ceding control back to him as they leave the advisor's office. Who knows what's out there? We have to apply. You know, when I was alive, we weren't even sure if the other planes were real. I don't have the credentials for it, Sildar says. But if you want to go, I'm game. He figures he could use an adventure. And listening to Barry hasn't steered him wrong yet. The hunger swallows their whole world, their world whole. Goodbye apartment, goodbye secondhand store, goodbye university. I didn't sign up for this, Sildar says, sitting on his bunk on the Star Blaster. They just came back from their first team meeting. Barry had taken care of that. This was your mission, and now we're stuck away from home, and everyone is dead, and I'm stuck on a ship with 6 strangers, and we're all going to die. Breathe, kid, Barry says. Hey, you with me? We're going to fucking die, Sildar says again, and everything seems very far away, and his ears is ringing. I can't. Okay, kid, Barry says. Hey, I'm not going to do this again, but... And Barry slips into Sildar's skin. It's a relief, in a way, to cede control. Barry breathes with Sildar's lungs, long, deep breaths, and drinks the glass of water that's sitting on his nightstand. The thump of his heart grows less overwhelming. Barry slips out again, and Sildar puts his head in his hands. He feels calmer now. You could do that this entire time, couldn't you? Sildar says. Yeah, Barry says softly. I told you, kid, I'm very powerful, and you've been hanging around me for too long. Sildar doesn't speak. He feels so stupid. Don't make deals with magical artifacts. Don't talk to anything that seems to have a soul. Barry could have taken over at any point, and there would have been nothing that Sildar could have done. I won't do it again, Barry says. But I think we need to tell the crew about me and you. Yeah, Sildar says. I'm going to get you through this, Barry says. It's my fault you're here. I mean, at least we're alive, Sildar says, and starts laughing, because it's either that or cry. So, Barry says, walking into the meeting room the next day, I might have been lying on my application. Oh? I have not done it. Oh, Captain Davenport says apprehensively. The rest of the team look at him with skepticism. They're all on edge after the past couple of days. Barry says, well, there's no good way to say this, but I'm a lich possessing this guy's body, and my phylactery is the pair of jeans he's wearing. Sorry. Told you there was no good way to say this. My name's actually Barry, though. Here, I'm going to switch it over to Sildar now. Yeah, sorry. And he slides out of Sildar's head, leaving room for Sildar to blink and steady himself. Hi, Sildar says, giving them his best sheepish smile and taking off his glasses. I'm Sildar. I bought Barry from a secondhand store a year and a half ago. What the shit? What the shit? Taco says flatly. The crew takes it pretty well, actually. The last story I was trying to work on Taco and Loop, and this time I'm trying to get my Barry down. Well, Griffin's Barry down. Anyway. Time passes. Barry talks magical theory with Taco in the lab. Sildar spars with Magnus in the gym. Barry argues about old fantasy novels with Lucretia. Sildar learns how to fly the ship from the captain. They give up on a schedule. Their lives are so unpredictable now, far from the weekly regimen that they had stuck to for so long. Sildar stopped requiring contracts years ago. They slip between Barry and Sildar and back again. The crew learns how to recognize the differences. Sildar holds himself differently, doesn't wear glasses. Barry stutters sometimes. Some days, Sildar doesn't wear the jeans at all, and Barry doesn't begrudge him the break. You need your own space too, kid, Barry says. It becomes second nature to flip from Sildar to Barry in the blink of an eye, for Sildar to throw a knife and for Barry to follow that up with a ray of frost, switching back to Sildar, who dodges a bolt of electricity, and back to Barry, who cast Blight. They're a terrifyingly competent team when they get it right. Sildar is a terrible mage and an excellent fighter. Barry is the opposite. Sildar can start a thought, and Barry finishes it. Barry starts a sentence, and Sildar finishes it. He wonders when they started being able to do that. The thing with Loop is complicated. Barry falls first, and Sildar soon after. She's easier to love, and the fact that there are two of them in the one body is a problem on top of the problem that she's their crewmate and their good friend. The piece they play at the Legato Conservatory requires 5 body switches total. Sildar's good at the tricky fast bits. Barry coaxes emotion out of the keys that Sildar can't. Loop's playing is, as with all things she does, impeccable. A conversation between her and the both of them. She has love like an ocean, Sildar thinks. He never would have met her back home. If Sildar dies, Barry is out of commission for the rest of the cycle, and even if someone else puts the genes on, they don't have the reflexes that Barry and Sildar have honed over the years. They don't know to leave the left hand open because Barry is left-handed and needs the hand to cast spells. They don't know the mental cues to indicate a takeover is necessary. They can't flip between one, then the other neatly, like cutting through water. Have you thought about becoming a lich? Loop asks, an idle question as they're lying in bed. It's Sildar's turn to have the body today. Absolutely not, Barry says, sliding into the body in an instant. He's not doing that. Hi, Barry, Loop says, kissing him hello. What's got your panties in a twist? Sildar's not making my mistakes, Barry says. Why not? Sildar asks, wrenching the body back. It's not a bad idea. We need more firepower, don't we? Not like that, Barry says to Sildar. Why not? Sildar asks again. It's not like Barry to be so firm about something. We're not talking about this, he says, and refuses to speak for the rest of the night. There's a pretty good chance our souls end up melded together if you try to become a lich, Barry says abruptly the next morning. You can't tell Loop about it, but that's why there's no way in hell I'm letting you do the ceremony. What does that mean? Sildar says, yawning. He's trying to be quiet. Loop's still asleep. Means that both of us will stop existing as distinct entities, Barry says, because we've been together so long. Do you know how many cases of body sharing resemble ours? Like 3 total. We're in uncharted territory. It terrifies me, actually, how easily you give up control. I have no idea what would happen. Probably my consciousness will overwrite yours because I have more life experience, or we'll end up some sort of combination. It's not worth the cost, kid. Oh, Sildar says. But isn't it? Sildar thinks. The world is always ending for them. Their fight is against an entity that always devours. They can't keep doing this forever. It's been almost a century, and they're no closer to their goal than when they started. He knows what Barry's going to think before he thinks it. Barry knows the shape of Sildar's thoughts, his desires intimately. They share a body, a brain, a lover. Sildar Hallwinter has only existed alone for 19 years of his life. I never meant, Barry says, the night before they cast the spell. You know, I didn't mean for things to end up like this, kid. I never meant to hurt you. You didn't, Sildar says. They stand across from Loop, their hands in hers. They haven't told her what might happen. They take a deep breath. They charge the spell. The woman they love, the family they've gained together, the worlds that they have seen, the people they have helped, have hurt, have touched. The easy conversation between the two of them, the way they switch between Barry to Sildar and back again, one and then the other, seamless. The lich rises from the body. The two of them together. And now it's time for everybody's favorite part. And kudos. It echoes, doesn't it? Ling, ling, ling.